it felt like there was a cloud of grief over me. And are you ready? I'm ready. All right.
For Kathleen Guzman-Russell, the pandemic has brought to life new options and expectations.
March 2021 is actually when I contracted COVID. So I was actually out of work, working very, very limited hours from March to April of 2021. So that was a deep pause.
Guzman-Russell went to urgent care for COVID for the fourth time, and her doctor, who formerly served in the Navy, was surprised when he asked her how she was doing.
And I said, I guess I'm okay. I'm not on a ventilator. And he looked at me and he said, you sound like my PTSD patients. I'm like, I'm sorry, what are you talking about?
Guzman-Russell took 3 months extended leave, which ultimately led to her choice to prioritize her own needs in her career decisions.
I'm not going to be repeating the same steps of being stuck in a position where I think I could elevate.
And Guzman-Russell is not alone. Black women in particular are making major career moves post-pandemic.
Over time, we noticed a shift where between taking care of their health with the pandemic, the social unrest with the murders of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, we had to take a step back and make sure that we were taking care of ourselves.
Career coach Lauren James observes these career transitions firsthand. Black women are approaching life differently as priorities shift from thriving to surviving.
The American Psychological Association did a study which showed that Black women during the pandemic were more likely to report feeling high levels of stress.
Ashley Graham, IT program specialist, entrepreneur, and author, spent more than 2 years working and running her business remotely. Then she decided enough.
Pre-pandemic, of course, I have kids, so I remember rushing to get them to school. I was in a long carpool line, dropping my kids off, trying not to be the person to hit the hit the honk, like honk, honk. So I used to drop them off and literally get in my car and get to work so I could be at my desk by 8 or 8:30.
Graham spent 3 hours driving to Bethesda from Waldorf, working and then rushing back home. In addition to her full-time job, Graham was always busy as a serial entrepreneur.
The pandemic made me realize that I was busy and maybe overly busy and probably too accustomed to being busy because silence was not really my best friend at the moment.
Being home for more than 2 years caused Graham to value the workplace experience and relationships all the more.
I think I wanted that interaction again, and so that's where I started looking, and this position came about where I knew I'd be on site maybe a couple of days and then home. So the flexibility of being home hybrid was really big for me.
A Harvard Business Review article shared that our connection to others influences our motivation.
Like, I realized I had to get back into the culture of people. Like, I was told, so actually, it's funny, the first day I came, I went right to my desk, and I dreaded people coming to introduce themselves. And that's one thing I hate about being new, is that I knew I was going to get, people going to notice that I'm new, and they're going to come introduce themselves. And at first, I was just like cringing. Every time someone came by, they'd be like, I'm like, oh, look ahead, look ahead.
The Biden administration has declared that the nation's public health state of emergency will be over soon on May 11th. Career expert Lauren James shares this caveat before we jump back in to business as usual.
We've been conditioned to think about what our lives should look like, become mothers, get married, get a job, like all of these things. And it's important for us to always check in with ourselves to be sure that what we're doing actually speaks to our souls.
As the world has been shaken by a global phenomenon, hopes are that we will come back more resilient.
The pandemic showed us, businesses were closing down. Unfortunately, lives were lost. So there's a lot of things that you have to do. You have to be like a rubber band and just bend quickly, unexpectedly. So preparing myself mentally for that.
Though Guzman-Russell's position became unavailable, a new opportunity opened up.
Well, I had to do Uber at one time, and that's how I met the president and CEO of Charles County Chamber of Commerce, Bonnie Grady.
Guzman-Russell worked at the Chamber of Commerce for 13 months, but with new knowledge and experience, she decided to pursue the career she truly wanted.
I had a call from CSM within, I want to say, 24 hours of me applying.
Like many other Black women post-pandemic, Guzman-Russell has experienced an arduous journey of discovery that has led to more clarity and alignment.
We're taught to put everyone else, everything else before ourselves, and I think the pandemic forced us to realize that we had to take another approach to how we work, to how we live, to how we show up in the world.